Now, I think it's in 3 decades. Is it? Why
Yes.
do you think people have come out in their droves?
I think it's India traditionally have voted at general elections anyway, and this time round, particularly with BJP leader Modi, who has done very well in my state where I come from, where there appears to be significant development, roads being built, electricity being... We used to have power cuts on a regular basis. That no longer exists. So he's painted a picture that if the BJP come into power, there's likely to be a significant improvement on development projects. Congress traditionally tend to concentrate on minorities and the very poor. They claim that they have spent the last 10 years basically looking after the minorities and the poor, and have not concentrated so significantly on developing the main sort of basic structures.
So what sort of an impact will that have on Muslims in India?
Well, Muslims traditionally would be wary if the BJP came into power. It's unlikely that they'll get a majority, but it's quite likely that they will get the highest proportion of the MPs, and they probably will form an alliance with one of the minority parties. The concern the Muslims have is that the person that they're holding themselves out as the PM or potential PM for the BJP comes from the state of Gujarat, and he is very closely linked with what happened in 2003 with Gujarat's riots. He's also known, before he became PM of Gujarat, to have been very anti-Islamic. There is lots of recordings on YouTube about what he has said. If he was in this country, for example, and he was saying the sort of things that he has said on YouTube, he certainly wouldn't get anywhere at all in British politics. So he's almost an equivalent to someone like UKIP or somebody from National Front. They are very anti-Islamic. On some of them.
So how could this party or this individual in particular be doing so well? How is that feasible?
Because Muslims are simply 12 to 16% of the population. Whilst there are about 150 million of Muslims in India, there's 800 million voting. So 6 to 700 Muslims, 6 to 700 are Hindus of that faith. So majority of those people are Hindu people, so they are likely to be very successful.
You mentioned the Gujarat riots there. For some of our viewers who might not know too much about it, can you just tell us a little bit about that?
Well, in 2002, just after Mr. Modi came to power, there were riots in my state of Gujarat. It arose out of a train of Hindus traveling along that western state. The train coach was burnt down, and it was considered that it was the Muslims who were responsible for it. And the whole of Gujarat, Hindus, Muslims, basically took up upon themselves. And Modi had just come into power at the time, and a lot of the troubles that occurred in Ahmedabad, which is almost the capital of the Gujarat state, and he was the chief minister at the time. And the allegations are that he never did anything, or in fact he was actively involved in what happened to the Muslims. There's nearly 2,000 Muslims that were killed at the time.
Before we do move on, regarding those Gujarat riots and his connection to what happened there or may have happened at that time, do you think this will have any implication on his runnings in the election?
No, because he's been very good on social websites, and the way he's projected himself particularly in the last 5 years, he's even now convinced the Brits and the US, and the British ambassador's been to see him, the US ambassador's been to see him. Though he hasn't got a visa here, he's likely to get a visa to go to the States. So now the European Union and the Americans and the Brits are changing the view because he's a potential Prime Minister of India.
Okay, well, thank you both very much.